Hi, it's Steve King with you once again. And what I'm going to talk about now is actually clearing template memories or images. I have previously explained what I mean by template images, but why do we need to clean and clear them? The answer is simple, in as much as by that I mean, of course, the template images themselves, are those shocking or traumatic memories that are seemingly indelibly imprinted on the mind and can create very unpleasant side effects. These side effects can be things like addiction, obsession, compulsion, anxiety, fear, phobia, and even sleep problems. We have already covered the issues regarding negative and rigid core belief systems, which can, of course, be deep and complex. These belief systems also include the visual and kinetic imprints, the most impressionable of which are from our early life, and they form the cornerstone of a person's personality. But they are usually based on subjective rather than objective reality. In other words, they're based on what we perceive, we believe. The cleaning, clearing, releasing, and collapsing of any traumatic or shocking memories, images, or scenes allows us to return to what could be called a state of healthy homeostasis. That is, a state that has no negative triggers attached to the original incident, image, or perception of same. So let's take an example that most of us can relate to. September the 11th, 2001. Seeing the terrifying images repeated so many times, with many people not feeling able to turn away from their TV screens, the repetitive showing of the planes crashing into the buildings, and the mind's ability, of course, and quite rightly, to have empathy and horror at the thought of what it must have been like to be in the planes for those victims or in the buildings for those victims. To hear and listen to the telephone calls from those who were being held hostage to the terrorist suicidal plans, and to hear the very personal stories from the victims' family members. Critical incident stress debriefing teams were obviously immediately called into action, especially for police, fire, and emergency personnel. Following this tragedy, my own experience demonstrated the power of the simplest technique. All my clients who had requested working on the trauma of September 11th stated that the issue for them had actually been the inability to clear or to dissipate the image of the planes crashing into the World Trade Center buildings, or people jumping from those buildings. Just like the newspaper and magazine front covers, the image was for each client a particular frozen frame image. All the clients were reporting an inability to sleep, increasing anxiety, the loss of functioning work, play, or even relationship. One had totally returned to major self-destructive behaviors. Though many addiction experts might suggest this just actually provided the perfect reason for a relapse. However, this was for someone who had clearly and cleanly been on a healing path for a good period of time. The images had in fact become what I would refer to as template memories. And these memories are the ones that prevent the ability to tune in to pleasant thoughts. This type of template memory can occur when someone has witnessed a loved one die in a painful way, such as wasting away from cancer, and that memory then tends to dominate all others, and it doesn't tend to allow for the surfacing of the many pleasant pre-wasting images. So what was this simple technique? I'm going to demonstrate it for you. I just asked each of those clients to actually close their eyes and focus on that frozen image. and then take 2 fingers of both hands and place them either side of the bridge of the nose and the beginning of the eyebrows. That's just here. So if you bring those fingers towards you, you've got them just there. Now this is part of EFT, thought field therapy. It's part of trauma routine. It's something I've talked about before in other ways, but you stay focused on that image and you tap there with the pads of your fingers. Your eyes are closed and you just continue to tap, maybe for 20-30 seconds at most. And after those seconds, those clients all reported that the images are unfrozen and were cleaning, clearing, dissipating, or just moving on. Each also noted a dramatic drop in the level of anxiety they felt when they first tuned in, and have since reported a return to a healthier homeostasis, but with a great deal of care, concern and compassion about the September 11th terrorist attacks. As for the client who relapsed, he reported that his life is totally back on track again. Now, if this simple tapping technique does not seem effective in terms of clearing or dissipating the frozen image, then I will usually do what I call the inner child or inner adult self-reclamation exercise. And that is detailed in my books on rapid recovery, accelerated information processing and healing, and PTSD cleaning and clearing shock and trauma, as well as on my online Udemy video course of the same name. That's UDEMY. If you want to check out that course, again, it's online. It is PTSD cleaning and clearing shock and trauma. But I hope you will use the images, but I hope you'll use this technique. Again, fairly straightforward. You focus in on the image that seems stuck up here. You close your eyes, you observe it, you breathe nice and deeply, but with those 2 fingers either side of the bridge of the nose, beginning of the eyebrows, you tap there for quite a few seconds, and my hope will be that the image just dissipates and floats away. Thanks very much.